All right, let's get through the lists of today, April the 13th, and see whether we have any new movers and any new charts that deserve attention for the week ahead. I have already went through the watch lists and removed some that do not really deserve any attention. Let's scroll through the rest. Yeah, I like to open these and just track the base levels of these because you never know how this plays out, and in case these moves start getting some attention and then they have the extra guess of breaking a relatively long consolidated base, you want to have these nearby. Yeah, that's one which I included on Friday. It's sliding through the moving averages, so let's see how it handles. That's one I was able to get in. I think we went a couple of times on the stream talking about it. Let's see how it digests these new levels. Yeah, that's typically quite bullish. Whenever you have a range break, actually that is quite bullish. So whenever you have these range breaks, and then you have the stock digesting above multiple days where the market has been up and down, but the stock keeps above the previous consolidated base, you can definitely be certain that it's willing to explore going higher. Like there are no sellers here that would push the stock low. You have the moving average support coming in soon. So if this was a higher volume stock, I would definitely be already in. I'll be looking to enter if it manages to pick up some volume. That's definitely a pattern that you should be familiar with. I've seen so many moves coming out of these patterns that would then just make amazing moves. It's looking amazing on the weekly as well. So the only stop here is the volume. So the volume really needs to pick up. Other than that, this one has the confirmation on multiple time frames and the pattern confirmation and the range break confirmation. So that's a stock you would definitely want to be in. Yeah, similar case in here. All right, although this one you don't really have the basing on different higher lows. Here it's a bit more one time and one-sided. Yeah, this one looked okay. It broke some ranges. Let's see how it handles. AOB, another chemical's name. This one deserves attention if it breaks through with volume. This one I was able to enter last week, so let's see how it moves. That was a very good name the prior month. Now it's based around the 50, starts moving up. So if it breaks for a second consolidation effort in the higher range, I'll be looking to enter. Kind of a similar setup. You almost have a range break in here. So I'm willing to see how this one digests. Yeah, another good looking name on the chemical side. Touch the 20, pushed higher. In case it breaks these levels, I'll be looking to enter this one as well. Or maybe not. Scratch that. Volume looks like a disaster. Only if it picks up on volume. That's a fine looking name. You have the range. You have the first leg basing around some levels now. If this one pushes with some volume, that would be a top buy. Yeah, that one has been sliding through the EMs. It's a bit more politically related given all the oil and gas speculation, etc. But if this one breaks, I see a good risk-reward ratio. Anything above here, I will be looking to enter. Anything below here, looking to exit. You might argue that, yeah, let's see how it digests. Yeah, same thing. Digesting levels above the previous range. Definitely deserves all the attention in the world. Yeah, this one we have spoken about multiple times on the stream now. You had the first leg, you had somewhat of a basic attempt. This one could be a good risk reward. How the ADR on the downside. If this one gaps down a bit, it might be worth a grab with a very nearby stop loss. Nice. Low on the volume side, but still shows strength of team. Very strong setups. That's one which is a complete textbook setup, right? You had the first leg, then it broke down, served the 50-day, broke out above the 8-day, another leg up. Now it served the 20-day. And look how it spends a few days, right? And I guess if you compare it to the market, it's on weakness days of the market itself. But the first time that the market, oh, actually here you have an amazing divergence, right? So the stock is already gapping up together with the market, and then it slides about 10-day, whereas the market is actually in a downtrade for 4 days. And then out of the lows, it rallies 60%, whereas the market actually is down 1%. These are the movers that can definitely make your portfolio. Like, no doubt about it. Relative strength is the number one thing you should keep an eye out for. Amazing setup, amazing first leg. Then you have the stock digesting and going even extending down to the 50-day. But when you compare it to the market, that's expected. Market is also under the 50-day. But what happens next is the type of moves that you want to be all over. So the stock pushes from the 50-day to the next high, almost 60% of an up move. At the same time, the market is showing huge weakness across the chain. So you are having, this is when the stock breaks in here and goes above the 50-day. And then for this duration of the move here, it's when the stock makes another 60% up and you have the market down. These are the type of trades you want to beat. And that's why it's very key not to be overly stressed by the overall market conditions. You would always have stocks which are showing relative strength. And even though the markets could be down, there will be some stock making amazing moves. And then by the time you know it and the markets recover, they have already made 80% of a move. So always track the individual stocks. Okay, that's yeah, it's a few days. But this one might deserve some attention. Yeah, this one broke out. Good volume. Let's see how it digests. Yeah, most of these. Well, I was very surprised by what happened on Friday for this one. Looked so promising, to be honest. One of the few stocks that had a solid first leg, and then you had it basing with tightening ranges, everything picture set up perfect. And then you had this ugly bar on Friday. Let's see now if the stock would digest very quick and comes back. Maybe you could treat it as intact, but typically this is not what you want to see. You want to see the setup to stay relatively tight, compressed, because after compression, then you have the volume exploding. And right now, the volume exploded. Just did on the wrong side. Again, it's all about setups. It's all about having the patterns in your head. There have been multiple patterns and charts that I have seen that actually break out from these type of charts where a nice tight range actually gets completely broken, but then the stock very quickly recovers because now all the potential buyers that have been in already, they're now out. So these guys are now sitting on the sidelines. So the stock could very much rally. But you should treat this one with much tighter stops now. Whereas before, you could allow it more freedom. Yeah, marking these, they have absolutely no reason to be in my watch list. Yeah, that has been a relatively strong name. Ideally, I would like to get it on the somewhere around these levels to have a nice defined stop loss. Definitely on the watch list, but not willing to enter these levels. That's one which looks rather promising. Above a range, but it needs to pick up on volume to show serious intent. Yeah, Fastly. Such a promising name. Well, I think I exit here. Was not able to take the absolute maximum, but it was a pretty good trade until here. Oh wow, okay. Alright, on top of the range, 2 inside days. Not too fan of these bars. Is it like a one-time off thing? Anyway, I'm going to track this one. Looks good on the hourly as well. It just needs some more volume to start behaving nicely. Typically, that's a pretty decent setup. And there is absolutely no volume in here. Yeah, we have already discussed a couple of times regarding these setups. Look good. Have reference points to play against. Yeah, Lunar. Let's see how it digests. But it's now in a very dangerous territory in terms of quickly becoming a huge mover. Actually have a pretty good risk reward now. Yeah, let's see how it behaves. Yeah, that has been an amazing one. Can't believe I got shaken out. Good looking setup as well. If you have a solid breakout from these levels, that will definitely show some strength. Let's see, anything above here, the 10-day, the 20-day, I would like to have close. Yeah, these market leaders, right? At some point, this was looking something like this, right? So yeah, you could argue you have the moving averages trending up, but this bar is absolutely dreadful. There's absolutely no reason for anyone that has been in the trade, for example, from this breakout level, to stay in with a bar like this. Like it cuts a couple of days, have a charting range, and then it cuts essentially this one. There's zero reason for you to be inside, and yet, so not out, yeah, not all of the setups out there are playable. So you look at something like this, and then you are like, hey, how did I miss this? I want to write these moves. This is what I'm gonna when I become profitable. This is the type of moves that I would like to be exposed in. But you really need to stay honest to yourself. Like, would you really be? So ideally, you would enter this one here. You might say, hey, there is a flag. There is a range nearby. If it breaks the range, I definitely want to be in. And then you're in on this day. Incredibly happy. Let's say you got a good execution. But then there is absolutely zero reason for you to stay here. Broke previous day low. It broke the pivot open. It broke the entire range. It broke the 20-day, and it almost finished on the 50-day. There is no reason for you to be in the trade. Zero reason. Or if you are staying in these trades, then you definitely will stay on the losing side in the long term. And then the stock just opens 8% up and then gaps up for another 4% almost. And then it does this. So not all of the setups are playable. You need to skip this one. You need to pay attention and zero regrets if you got shaken out along the way. You played the setup. You entered when it was right to enter. Whatever happens next, it's for the market. It's not for you to decide or orchestrate. Yeah, that has been a good mover. Let's see. TC2000 is incredibly slow this morning. I'm not sure why. It's a bit frustrating. Yeah, good name. On Friday, it got a bit on the downside in the afternoon session, but still a relatively good name in terms of setup. Let's see how it moves. This is a pretty good looking setup. I was not able to get a feel on it. I was trying to get an execution, but then it moved much quicker than I anticipated. Let's see how it opens with today's weakness. Let me put it somewhere so I don't forget about this one. ACLS I don't no longer need. Sets definitely I want to grab. And then we have this one here. All right, at least these 2000 now looks pretty decent performance wise. Yeah, this one has started looking much better. I have a bad experience with this one. Nevertheless, yeah, that was a pretty good one on Friday. I missed it. If it comes back, I'll be looking to grab. All right, definitely lots of names on the watch lists that need a closer attention. We have the market slightly down this morning. Some of them might offer a very good entry levels. So let's see how market digests this morning news. Cool. Thank you very much.